Ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause for your host, Angie Starr.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and I welcome you to our first podcast. This is a favorite of mine. It's called Solutions, Not Slogans. You hear a lot of politicians, a lot of people trying to win brownie points. They come up with a lot of slogans. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we need to do this, that. But then I'm listening, and I'm always trying to find, what is the solution? So today we're gonna talk about homelessness. And the reason we chose this topic, I'm sure all of you saw on the news, the kids that froze to death in a van in the Greek town or Hollywood casino. And when I saw that story, and I just thought of the innocence of a child. You know, they don't pick their circumstances. You know, they just trying to survive and become an adult. And to die like that, it hurt me. And I felt as human beings, how could we allow this to happen? How did it happen? The city did address it. You know, I saw different news outlets do specials on it, and they interview people that try to get into the system when they're in that situation. And there's waiting lists, and there's not always places for people to go, or they might not know what to do or where to go. So my thing is, I asked our listeners on the radio, I said, maybe you guys have solutions. Maybe you have, an idea that might help us make this terrible event that occurred, the death of those kids, never happen again. So today we're gonna address that and, see what kind of solutions, not slogans, we can come up with. So I'm gonna start with a video. And this particular video is a program that's in Indiana right now. And Ben Perez, who you met today, it's his brother. His brother is the CEO of this company, and it's called the Tiny Shelters. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this video. And this is a solution that could work in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Mike Perez, CEO of Faith Mission in Elkhart. We're located in Elkhart, Indiana. We're a homeless center. We serve single men, single women, and families. We offer a holistic approach for the residents that stay here in the sense that we offer emergency overnight shelter all the way through a transitional housing program. Today I'm going to tell you about two of our programs, which is our Tiny Shelters program and our Tiny House program. In our Tiny Shelters, those are 12 by 16 units that we use for vets. We use them for individuals who have service animals, and we use them for individuals who have severe mental health issues who can't live in a dormitory setting. There they have a bed, a restroom in them, and they have a little storage area, and we have a shower and laundry facility in a separate building. That's a 90-day renewable program, and it's strictly for single individuals only. Through our transitional housing program, we have 20 by 24 houses. And in those are full houses where they have kitchens, restrooms, and they have a living space. Those individuals can live and apply to live there after they've graduated through our actual programming from 1 to 2 years. There is a program fee, which we charge 25% of their gross income, which 5% of that they save, and they're required to save as they work with an advocate that works towards getting them into more stable and more permanent housing. And when they leave the program, they're allowed to take that money and do whatever they like. So far, we do have some success with that, where we've had 7 individuals in the last few years move out, live out cars, put deposits, help buy even a house. So if you'd like to find out more information about how we work with those individuals in those programs, please go to our website, thefaithmission.org. Thank you.
That's a solution.
A solution. Okay, I'm going to introduce our panelists right now. To my right, we have Dice, and we call him Dice.
He can tell you more
your
than
last
that.
name, yeah, because I just call Clark.
Dice
Okay, I'm
Clark.
sorry, because I'm Dice.
Yeah.
Dice. We call him up because he is a person that, again, action speaks louder than words, and he's a community activist. And I'm watching him on Facebook all the time. He'll find out that a kid, was begging for money at a store, and the people call him because they're wondering, why is this kid doing this? And I'm gonna kind of let him speak to that situation. But his result was, I'm not talk about the kid and, oh, I can't believe this kid is doing this. He got on Facebook and said, we got a kid here that needs the community's help. So if you're in this area, I need you to pull up. I need you to do what you can do to help this kid out. Then I'll let him kind of tell the story. But this is Dice, everybody. So
Dice Clark.
Dice Clark.
Dice, welcome.
Thank you again, always. Appreciate the offer from you guys. I love y'all, of course. Thank you, everybody that's here. If you hear that, mean you concerned and you want to make a change. So that's the first step. That situation is just one of thousands that people don't get to see. That was one that was serious, where a young boy was on Linwood, Dexter area. People reached out to me who know I do things in the community. He was standing out there with no socks on, just in the cold, and it was during the winter time, so it was real cold. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I was against it, but God put on my heart to turn around, and I just reached out to my community, like, look, we gotta save this little boy. He come from an abusive family, parents on drugs. He was just standing out there trying to panhandle to survive. So I pulled up first, got the video out, reached out to my community, and then before I knew it, 20, 30 people was pulling up, clothes, money, food, to where the next day we went to his house because we needed to meet his parents to see how they was living, which we realized it was worse than we thought. So thank God we did make those steps. He was out of school. I was able to get him back in school at Central High School with his mother's consent. But it's sad to say that in that situation, his parents are on drugs, which they use their kids for their use of drugs. They use them to go out there to get what they need. He's 16 years of age. I tried to get him in Job Corps, but his parents kind of went against me because that would take away from them, which hurts me. And then the police told me that I had to step away from helping him because he's still a minor, and that's their child. But then they won't do nothing because they say he's a young adult. So I'm like, that don't make sense. But I'm gonna stay away because it's a shame that I'm gonna get in trouble for helping him. You know what I'm saying? But people still calling me today. They still see him out there panhandling, trying to get money for his parents. And that's the sad part. He's out there risking his life, and then the living conditions is not good. But again, that's one of thousands that I take care of in the community.
And that's on the young end. One of the reasons we first met you, Dice, was because you were doing a fundraiser for the senior citizens. Can you speak to that?
Yes, ma'am. Every year, shout out to my partner, Aaron Patway from Detroit ISM, just him and I. He decided to get with me, and we decided to take care of the senior citizens every year for Thanksgiving. We know that seniors, a lot of them are lonely or don't have family, so we decide to feed them each year pre-Thanksgiving. So we up to 1,000 seniors now. So we've been doing it for the past 5 years, man. Yeah.
All right. And this young lady over here, Shalonda Spencer, is the Director of Housing and Aftercare at Marina's Inn. I'm going to let her speak to you all about what they do and who they help.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yes.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here in this space with you all. So if you're not familiar with Mariners Inn, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So Mariners Inn is a residential treatment program, so for substance abuse. I run the housing department. So there's a recovery housing program, and then there's a permanent supportive housing program. So the recovery housing program is more of like a short-term housing program where they can stay in the program for about 4 months up to about 2 years while they're working on like employment, all wraparound services so that we can prepare them to transition into independent living. And then our permanent supportive housing is more of a long-term housing program where they stay for a minimum of 5 years.
How do you find them?
They come to us.
Where are you located? For the information.
So we're actually in the heart of downtown, right across the street from the Little Caesars Arena and next door to Cass Technical High School.
Now,
Beautiful.
I'm going to ask both of my panelists before we move on, and I'll start with you, Dice. What is the biggest need that you see in the community when it comes to homelessness?
Unity. I think that our community need to step up and take accountability, and instead of talking about it, like you said, solutions over slogans. So that's my biggest thing. And then, like everybody here, everybody just need to play their part, and we can slow this down tremendously.
All right. Shalonda, the same question.
I would say affordable housing. I know people with full-time jobs who's struggling with housing. So just imagine if you get someone who's struggling with substance abuse, but definitely having those resources for affordable housing.
All right.
Beautiful.
Okay, when we first put this podcast together and the idea, we went to our airwaves and we asked our listeners to go to our website.
Which are all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And go to our website and put in suggestions. And first, I would like to start with Anita Hawkins. Is Anita Hawkins here? Did she make it here? Okay, this is what Anita wrote that I really like. The rehab of the many old and abandoned houses, buildings located throughout the city of Detroit, which are subsidized, affordable, rent-based housing, as you spoke of, and it's based on income. That came from one of our listeners, Anita Hawkins, on video. You guys can give her a round of applause for that. Dice, when
Yes.
it comes to rehabilitating homes, we had a gentleman, again, that you knew, Mr. Brooks, that
Yes.
built the castle. What was his vision with that? Because he took an old rundown place and turned it into basically a castle.
Yeah, it's actually 2 city blocks long right now, and that's not all he owned. He owned other properties as well on the east side. But his mission is also to try to help the homeless as well. If I don't know if anybody heard about that, Charles Brooks, I think it's Lakewood. Is it Lakewood? Where it's located. If you drive on the east side of Lakewood, the castle, you cannot miss it. It's been a big topic for years. And lately it's been real big because it was controversy with the city and with him, which I don't understand. If this guy is doing something great to give back and help the community, how could the city go against him? You know, and then we all can argue that because it's in the neighborhood, which I think they should stop labeling our neighborhoods.
Come on,
Why
yes.
we can't be labeled community like everybody else.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to Charles Brooks for doing a great thing over there. And we want to link up with him as well because he got the contract, the construction company to help build these ran down homes.
And the part when we interviewed him, it brought me to tears because his story goes a little bit like this. He lived in Grosse Pointe. His house burned down. Money was funny at that time. And he and his wife, I guess their kids had to live in a van.
Yep.
And he does construction by trade. And one of his clients gave him a house that was pretty much run down. And he was able to rehab the home. And the rest is history. You see this castle built. But what brought me to tears was his son. Because his son was, 21, 22?
Yep.
Looking up to his dad. And the first thing he said when we gave him the microphone was, my dad has taught me something that I can eat on for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? And that, to me, we could teach kids how to rehab. We could really teach them trades and then help homeless people. So to that,
Yeah, Charles
thank
Brooks,
you. That was good. Is Melanie Sharp here? Melanie, okay. Can you just stand up so everybody can see you? Give her a round of applause.
Actually, step toward the table some.
Yes.
There we go. And Rob's going to bring you a microphone right behind you. Yeah. There you go.
Hi.
She wrote, I'm a read.
And
she
welcome.
wrote. And welcome, yes. And thank you for doing this. What Melanie wrote was, get a list of private landlords that have open housing and create incentives, you think like me, for these landlords to partner with the city and these housing organizations. Create a committee that meets monthly to keep the current housing market updated and a list of high-risk families needing assistance. Dedicate a team of volunteers and paid staff to meet with these human service agencies and DHHS to offer wraparound services to these at-risk families.
Amen.
What would you like to add to what you read?
I kind of have a different perspective. I'm a real estate agent and I'm also a social worker. So that perspective has allowed me to see things differently. Having been on both sides of as a renter and also working with families in homelessness and all of these communities, you kind of get a different perspective. You hear the stories, you recognize, the housing market issues and affordable housing. I think my sister talked about bad credit.
Yeah.
The bad credit issues. You can have a bomb house, you can have the income, but if your credit won't allow you to get into it, your perpetual homeless problem is going to continue. Mm-hmm. So in addition to getting them in there, you got to address the qualifications. And we know credit is an indicator of future success. So even a person who's down and homeless does not have any concept of credit and how to deal with that. But then we have all these barriers to even get and apply into housing. So recognizing the high-risk families and keeping a real pulse on them, that's so important. It's easy to fall through the cracks. It really is. You talked about the situation with not having a consistent address. I was an intern at a program in Hawaii, and it was a mobile crisis unit. And they would go around the island and just bring people their mail, where it was like a P.O. box. So again, thinking outside of the box, or how can we bring mail to these identified families, those who are at risk, what kind of contact or communication are we having with them on a regular basis? So I'm willing, I do a lot of volunteering, so I know there's the city in the spirit of Detroit, there's a lot of volunteerism. Mm-hmm. So even tapping into some of those opportunities to connect with these resources.
All right, Melanie. One of my listeners. Go on, girl. Thank you. Timothy Smith, could you please stand and come up? Or you want to stay seated? It's up to you. You should stay there? Okay, this is what he wrote. Plan, Detroit Public School Community District, building futures, initiative, mission. I mean, you went deep. To revitalize vocational education within the DPSCD, addressing the critical need for housing for the homeless population in Detroit by empowering students to develop valuable skills and contribute to a tangible solution. Vision, to create a sustainable program where high school students learn construction and life skills by designing and building safe, functional mini homes, fostering student development, promoting community partnerships, and providing dignified housing options. Phase 1, program development and curriculum. Design, 3 to 6 months. Goals, develop a comprehensive, engaging, and age-appropriate curriculum for the Building Futures Shop class. Secure all necessary approvals and integrate the curriculum into DPSCD framework. Establish rigorous safety protocols and acquire essential initial tools and equipment. Identify suitable pilot schools within the DPSCD system to launch the program.
Wow.
Woo!
Very
Yeah.
Tim, what would you like to add to all of that?
Well, I don't do this at all.
I know, right? I'm in shock, but I love it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't do it. I was actually sitting in the loft and everything, and a light came to me. The same thing with you, Angie. It really hurt me a lot. That we always was thinking about the homeless people. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of politics that goes on in the United States, period, not just Detroit. But Detroit is real unique. So just to get to the point, that was part of the plan. It was very comprehensive. I couldn't give it to all of you, but I get to the point. Since Detroit every place is real politics. It's always politics. It's just like They want to call us neighborhoods when we need to be communities. They've taken a lot out of the schools in the urban, what they call urban. When they say urban, they mean blacks. Let's just be honest. So they take out home economics. They've taken out just shop classes. So this light that came to me in the loft, it was like, wait a minute. With the kids that died at Greektown or Hollywood Casino, Detroit is like on a spotlight right now, and the whole, all of us can take advantage of it right now. We need to look good, or Detroit needs to look good, because I'm not from Detroit, but we need to look good. And Detroit has the big three, and they have Dan Gilbert. And so getting to the point, they're gonna say, like Vidi, I talked to Vidi. First thing he wanted to do before he could even read, got to the point, we can't afford it. But I know who he was, and then when he found out who I was, he ran away. Because he was like, wait a minute, this guy is the media and stuff, I gotta get out of here. He ran away with his couple of bodyguards and stuff like that, and left a couple of them to see what I was gonna do. You know, I don't care nothing about that anyway, but you know it, but he don't know it. So anyway, I figured he was gonna run away anyway, because he's put there to keep the urban kids not getting the right kind of education. But we go right over in West Bloomfield, and they got that kind of education. I mean, and I'm not racist or anything. Well, maybe a little bit. But getting to the point, the money can we can get the money. The schools don't have to pay for it, for the shop classes. So the shop classes, in essence, you bring the shop classes back to the high schools. The kids, what are their number one things? The phones. AI is now building homes. We already have a little tiny community of tiny homes. But the shop classes can start building these homes for the homeless, and Detroit can become like the model for the rest of the country. Dan Gilbert, of course, and you know Dan good.
Right.
Dan will actually put his money in on that. I mean, he's a different kind of person now, especially. I mean, he was even good back then, but he's really good now. And then you got the big three. They want to look good. These are politicians. They want to look good, and we will use that. And that way, we can afford those programs. And so Vidi and the school boards don't need to put no money in it.
I love it. Thank you. All right. Thank
Thank you, Tim, who's originally out of Chicago.
Yes. I have one of the community programs. I guess, Mason, you received the card from one of their workers when we started talking about the homeless situation on air. They gave you a card. This is John from Community Home Supports.
Come on up, John.
John, can you come on up?
Yeah. Come into the light, and Rob's going to give you the mic. Thank you for coming.
He's behind you.
Yep, he's right behind you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Hey, how y'all doing?
John,
Good,
so
John.
yeah, could you just tell
I
everybody?
guess, John, you sent that worker that day.
That's her right there. She's over there. That's Cherie
Oh,
out
there
there.
she is.
That's
Come
our
on up.
development director.
Come on up, sweetheart. No, you good? Okay. All right.
John,
Thank you. Thank you.
When she came in to talk to us,
Uh-huh.
she mentioned that you wanted her to get us that information, and because of what you do, explain to everyone what you do, what your project does.
Well, our organization is Community and Home Supports. My name's John Stoic. I'm the executive director, and we do two things. We have teams of outreach teams that go out in the streets and the shelter and engage with people who are unhoused. And then we try to refer them. We try to work with them to get their vital docs and help them with just the basic stuff. And then we refer them to permanent housing programs out in the community, like Anna Lessem, Mariners Inn. I'm sure she probably works with some of our staff members at Community and Home Supports. The homeless services community is real integrated. But I think one of the reasons, why we wanted to get it out here is, like the gentleman was saying, when these tragedies happen, I think that a lot of the focus gets on the people that are here, that are already out here in the streets doing the work. And it's like, what are y'all doing? Why aren't y'all doing more? But for me, I'm looking at all the money that's surrounding the people who are in the casino parking lot sleeping at night. Ooh. Or who are on the street. And why are we not looking at them? and saying, how can we get you engaged with the problem to get more resources and more money behind it, so we have more permanent housing, and we have more behavioral health, because that's a big part of this mental health and trauma that people have been through growing up in the city, going through things, plays a role. And when they get housing, staying in housing, maintaining that housing. And so I think that's really what I wanted to get out here, is that it's got to be more than just the agencies that are already out here, than the people that are already out here. It's got to be a whole community effort that sees the problem. And one other thing I want to point out too is the federal government has a definition of homelessness. And one of the parts of that definition is a place not meant for habitation. And there isn't a definition behind what a place not meant for habitation is. So when we do our annual count as a community and say we've got 6,000-7,000 people who are homeless in the streets and in the shelters, they're just catching the people in known locations and streets and places we know abandoned. We're not looking at all the housing that people are staying in that's substandard, that you might consider doesn't have water, has mold growing in the basement. I would consider that a lot not meant for habitation. So I think we as a community need to advocate to the government that we need more than $40 million. You know, Southern California gets $500 million. I don't know that we need that much, but we need more than the $40 million that we get. And then we need other people in the community, business people, capital investors, to invest in the problem, you know. So that's part of what Cherie does. She helps our organization just get out here and let people know what we're doing and what the community needs are, and tries to engage the community.
Wow, John, thank you.
John, we're going to be working
Thank
with
you
you.
for having me.
John. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you. It was because when I was thinking about this, when Mason had this card to me, it was like a sign that we've got to do this. And it was you. So thank you. I really appreciate that. So now I'm going to go to my idea. I've always been a person that likes to think out of the box, but I always like to try to think with my ideas, well, how can I do it? How can I accomplish it? And try to have a solution. And you might think that this might be a fairy tale or could never happen. But when I drive around Detroit and I see all these abandoned schools, yes, and I'm like, okay, these schools are just sitting here. And then when I watch the news after the Hollywood casino tragedy and they interview people that are on the waiting list, and I'm like, there's an actual waiting list. Wow, okay. And I don't know if you guys remember that movie with Will Smith when he and his son, you know, had to go in the bathroom and, you know, he was just trying to maintain his dignity. Some people don't like rules and regulations, and that's that part of the community. But I feel like every human being should have a place that they can go if times get hard and they find themselves homeless or not having a place to live. I just feel that should just be like McDonald's. I don't know. I just do, as a human right. That's safe. If you follow the rules, you can stay. If you don't, you can't stay. But I think that there should always be an option. So my idea goes back to the abandoned schools. We can start one by one. And when you take an abandoned school, you say, okay, well, it doesn't have any DTE. We're going to have to rehab it, get beds. There are costs involved. Security is huge. You've got to have security. And I thought to myself, Detroit, they say we got the best choirs. You know, when any church around the world, I'm going to say around the world, country, whatever, when they look for musicians, they look for Detroit gospel musicians. Our churches are huge here. In fact, there's something that goes around, a rumor that we have over 4,000 churches. So I did the research. In metropolitan Detroit, there are over 4,000 churches or religious organizations. So just me in my fantasy world, I said, what if just half of those churches donated $500 a month? $500 a month. That gives us $1 million a month to take care of DTE. Because Mace was like, you can't go after DTE. They don't just give away electricity. I said, okay. So I had to feel like he keeps it real with me. So I said, I got to figure out a solution. So my solution is speaking to the churches, putting a word out, and, you know, saying to them, we own the praise station here at Beasley. If you contribute monthly to this fund, we will shout you out as that type of church or organization that does that. So that helps your PR. It shows your people that you really care and doing missionary work in the community. And again, $2,000, $500,000, and we can get half of that. But that's a source in a way that we can get money to fund these schools if we could rehab them, because they're just sitting there doing nothing. It's no reason that if you are, and I'm gonna tell everybody, and I live like life is real, one paycheck away. You know, everybody can sit big and bad in life, or, you know, or let the computer system, something not drop into your account or something happens, you don't know that you might be in that situation. So, you know, thinking proactively and, you know, bringing positive karma back to yourself if you are ever in that situation, you could help and contribute to this. Another way that I thought that we might be able to raise money, again, Beasley, we're a major radio group. As you guys can see, we own Riff, CXX, The Bounce, The Praise Station, and KISS. I think we can maybe ask some corporate people to donate, and in exchange, them helping us, the Beasley Community Project, these particular vendors, Kroger's, Joe's Pizza Shop, you feel me? They're donating and they get these mentions. That helps them. You know, people, what's in it for me? Okay, so you get you get the mention, but then you get the fact that you are actually helping the community. So that was my idea.
Sounds great.
Well, you all came and took out your time to be here. We'd like to hear from you. So who would like to come up and give us their thoughts? Because we appreciate you all being here. Would you like to speak? Yes. Come forward and speak. And we really appreciate your involvement in the program this evening.
Mason. Hi, everybody. My name is Cleo. Only reason why I'm speaking is because Angie brought that up, and I was sitting there just literally thinking about all the abandoned schools we have, these buildings.
Right.
I mean, they could be made into dorms and stuff like that, and with those kind of donations and get things
houses,
going. And yes, and people can come in there. And now, you know, it is some homeless people out there that's choosing
That's right.
to do that. Some people not doing the work that they need to do.
Right.
So in a situation like that, and we got these dorms for you to come and get shelter and a roof over your head and all that, and we have to see you doing something to better yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, then yeah, you could go back on that corner with that sign, you know. But that was a great idea, and that's the only reason why I'm speaking on that, because there's so many abandoned buildings. Some of our high schools and junior high schools are just sitting there, and only thing it is a memory.
Yes.
And you know what you can do with that. And y'all, it's people, it's opportunity out here, and it's money out here, like this gentleman said. They got the money, it's there.
Right.
So we just need that. Great idea, Angie.
Thank
you, Cleo. Is there anybody else who would like to
Say
share
anything today.
a thought?
Stephanie, would you like to say something? Because we talked, you were in our studio, and we were talking about grants. I'm sorry, I'm just reminding, okay.
All right, Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So we did talk when I was in the studio about a week ago about maybe looking at some grants and fixing up some of these abandoned properties and turning these into some opportunities for the homeless, which I think is a great idea. I do work very closely with the Greater Detroit Realtors Association, and I think that is something that, and we work with all, real estate professionals. But I do think that is a solution to that, is that, maybe get some grant money, buy up these properties, because just like the schools, they're just sitting there bringing down other people's property value. So, yeah, it's a good solution.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to share a thought?
I do.
Beautiful. Come back. Ms. Sharp, thank you. What would you like to
One of the other concerns that faced with, I was at church on Sunday, and there was a patron that had come in, and we served the kids breakfast, and she was kind of hovering around where we were, and I learned that she was homeless. But after church, she was like, okay, can you take me somewhere? I'm like, where you want to go? And so she was like, I don't know, somewhere. And so Lord put it on my heart, okay, where I'm going to take this lady. And so I'm naming, okay, can you go to Peggy's place? No, I don't like that. No, I can't go here. But just some of the, I think it was mentioned about the mental health issues,
Right.
the illness, and then the issue with kids. Some people who have boys can't go into shelters. So
Right.
even if we say, okay, go to a shelter, take your kids to a shelter. My son is 12 years old and he's 5'11". So he's a baby face, but he's a man body.
Yes.
So even understanding how some of these dynamics, she can't go to a regular shelter. She don't want to split her son and daughter. So even when we talk about, we'll just go to a shelter, some of those options are just not available to families. And so I love the idea of creating homes, but having that tracking, even for those families who don't kind of fit that cookie cutter, is definitely something to be considered.
Beautiful.
I love what you just said.
So
Thank you.
what we're in a situation where we've had a lot of thoughtful ideas, and they need to be categorized. As she just mentioned, what about families that have boys that can't go to a shelter? So that would be a category. What about young people who are under the age of 21 and things of that nature? So we're going to keep everybody's information.
Yes.
We'll take it to another step. Come on up to the mic. Yeah. And we'll keep the information and come back. Your think tank information is very vital and very potent for us today.
Do I need to pass the collection plate?
Nope, and we won't close the doors, I swear.
I don't have a solution, but what I have on my heart, because
Yes, what's on your
what the
heart?
world is, and just like my solution is food. Now, I have a food truck. I can reach out, because there's a lot of, last year I went to a school and fed the whole entire school off my cost.
Wow.
It's kids and people, seniors, and people who don't get out to get things. I am available. I will reach out if y'all need me. We can go to the community. We can feed the seniors. We can feed the kids. We can go to the gas station. I don't mind pulling up. Just reach out to me. Just let me know. Smoking Mo's.
All right.
His brother chases me down at my other job, and the security is so afraid he's trying to do something to me, because his whole passion is, my brother wants to help. My brother wants to do something for you. My brother wants to come up and help you guys because of all the good things you do.
Yes.
So Mo,
Yes.
we always got you checked, which is
Yes.
why you know about this again today.
And hopefully in 2 months, I'll be right back
You'll
here
be
checking
back.
in.
Right.
Lots of love and thank
I'm
you.
here and I'm available.
Yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, to all of you, and John, and to everyone here, you're making yourselves available, because what'll happen is we'll start to hear some stuff and get some synergy, and then we get to come back, bring you back, and start to talk dice about that synergy and how, you can't eat the whole elephant in one bite. But if we could start to do pieces and pieces, I mean, that was very powerful what you said. No longer do we want to be identified as neighborhoods, but community. That's a very powerful statement.
I love it.
Anybody else before we go this evening?
John, do you have closing thoughts that you would like to share before we go?
I mean, my only closing thoughts is just thanks to you, Mason and Angie at 105.9 for just bringing this subject to the forefront. And because sometimes I think the people like you all that are working in this kind of feel like maybe we're the only ones that care. So I think that knowing that there's other people out here, knowing that, people who are out here in the community doing other things are also thinking about the housing issues and really want to do something about it to help out. So I appreciate it.
John, just like Mo's brother chased me down at my other job, your worker, she chased me down.
Yeah, that's what she
I
does.
told her, I said, I'm
Chases me
working.
down, too.
I work, what do you want? She said, no, you're going to hear what I got to say. And she said, I want you to take this card and I want you to call.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All of you. So thank you all.
Shalonda, closing thoughts?
Yep.
I'm just happy to be
Wait a
in
minute,
this
come
space.
closer. Yeah, we go.
I'm super happy to be in this space, and I have some ideas to take back to the team and see how we can make this community
Angie was
better.
shocked when she heard about what you do. She had not been aware of Meredith.
I'm
Right.
usually the quiet storm too, so they got me out of my element, but I'm happy to be here, and I hope I can be invited back again.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right. Good. And Dice, your closing thoughts.
Yeah, mine is just the unity thing. We sit here and come up with these ideas and solutions, but like you say, actions speak louder than words. We keep talking about it, but what you're doing about it. We got to come together, and there's enough of us in this room to start with what even Angie said. We can't wait on the state.
That's
we
right.
can't wait on the federal. We have to do it ourselves. I'm big on the community coming together. If we got to take our own dollars to buy that first school, then that's what we got to do to
That's
show
what we
them.
gotta do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Government is already checked out.
Yeah.
So, here's the good thing about them checking out. They would prefer, they'd help you to help yourself.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to do it. So you'd get support from them just based on the fact that they don't want to do it. So you have to use them where they want to be used. That's the old Bill Withers record. Use me to use me. because the Trump administration does not want to give away another dollar.
No.
But you get Elon Musk in here and you start telling him, he said, I got some friends. We have to use them where they are.
Yes.
Instead of saying, come back to where we were, start working them where they are.
Yes.
That's right.
So the more we do that, the stronger we'll all be. But you guys, man, have bigger, because it's difficult to go to work all day and then show up somewhere to participate. We humbly thank you all.
We thank you.
Yeah,
Go.
seriously.
Cleo, come to the mic.
Yeah. And as she does that, we want to thank our staff.
Yes.
Ron, our engineer.
Ron, I love you. Yeah.
Will, our camera operator.
Will, the cameraman.
and Ben Perez, who demanded that Angie come up with something and do it right away. I was like, Ben, we could do it in December. No. Spring.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, which is good.
Yes.
Just
And one more thing we do,
Go ahead.
my girl Mary with You Drink.
Oh, yeah.
Mary's over there.
You drink, I make.
Yes.
And to Big Rob, who should have long been gone.
Where's Rob? There
He
he
don't
is.
get enough time off. But he told his boss, put me in, I'm here,
Thank
whatever you need.
Thank you,
Amen.
Rob. All right.
Just the last thought that I came across my mind. I'm retired from the City of Detroit DOT bus drivers. And I don't know how many people know this, but City of Detroit workers get half off on land bank homes.
Wow.
Now, any city worker, there's a few other entities that also get half off at Detroit Land Bank. You go there, even like me, I can pass that on to a sibling, mother, father, sister, brother. I have gotten houses for family members that got a house but you have to be ready, of course, because all of these $1,000 land banks house need everything.
Yes.
Again, when the money comes in. So my girlfriend and I have sat around and thought about, let's get us a 2-family flat. Let's get us a little apartment building and stuff like that. And we sit around and procrastinate. But that is something to know if you know city workers and people that got the money in the back and hey, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think one of the things as we start to get this started is to look at it financially and start to create a bank to put the money in. Then you come back, start putting ideas together, but we start to raise the money first. And then it's easier for people to follow, So we will come back and do this.
Do it again.
a
You
couple
guys are
times.
part of our
And
family.
we'll bring back the money people next time.
Yeah, that's my goal. Period. Yes.
We need them.
Thank you, guys. So again, like May said, I want to thank all of you for coming out, but we've only just begun. I don't know. I think God keeps us living because He can use us as tools to help those who can't maybe help themselves. So let's keep working together, and feel free to take home a couple plates with you. I got my wings. We got my man.
Yes,
he made
do
his
take it
wings,
home.
the spaghetti,
Mo,
the
yeah.
wing, all that. Just take food, please. I just wanted to spoil you guys because, like May said, it means a lot for you guys to come out.
It
today.
does.
So thank you.
Thank you all.
Welcome. Thank you.
And have a good evening.
Yes.
And that's Solutions,
Yeah, not slogans.
not slogans today.
Yeah.
You did a good job. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.